Dear Diary, today I played Styx, Master of Headaches.
Oh, this headache. Oh, my head.
It was a stealth game from 2014 created by Cyanide Studios, developer known for such masterpieces as Game of Thrones, Of Orcs and Men, Blood Bowl,
Boom! In the face!
and of course Pro Cycling Manager. So you can imagine how high were my expectations. At first we are greeted with a cutscene, the best one you're going to see in the whole game. It unintentionally looks like a parody of any interrogation scene in any detective film with table and everything.
Who are you? Speak!
Me?
We get to see characters that look like action figures, delivering lines what I can only assume to be written by a 12-year-old.
I am one of a kind. It's the elves who created it, Father, that's obvious.
There is a big world tree and everybody wants to suck on its juice, called Amber, because it's a drug and also it gives you superpowers. The goal of main character is to get to the heart of this tree.
The heart, Osborne.
And get the medicine for his 200-year-old dementia. Imagine a school stage play. You know you're not getting anything out of it, but you still have to get through and patiently watch children struggling with their awkward performance. That's how it felt like. And look at these dramatic close-ups and low-res textures. Almost makes me want to launch Minecraft. After this 5-minute spectacle, the game finally starts in what appears to be a flashback. And even though the hope in me for a good story was dead and buried by that point, there was still a gameplay ahead of me. And what do you know, it's not a complete shit, and for the most part I actually enjoyed it. The goal of each level is pretty simple. Almost every time you need to reach some point of the map, but the whole fun is in exploring and trying to find a better way to get through it. For example, in Master Key level, I killed 2 guards without any problem and then decided to go under a bridge where I found a bunch of bugs. I decided to knife one of them, but its family members weren't so happy about it. At my second attempt I was spotted by those 2 guards I previously killed while trying to extinguish a torch. So in my frantic panic I found a window I could get through and escape. And after some slit throats and cracked necks, I died trying to jump across 2 balconies. On my third attempt I went straight across the bridge, which was the brightest idea because I caught myself on fire. In less literal sense it wasn't very good, but I pulled through somehow anyway. Then I climbed on some roof, found a coin, and died trying to shimmy through a wall because game didn't detect a ledge properly. On my fourth attempt I went straight across the bridge again, this time without raising any alarms. Then I went right away to ramparts, killed some dudes, opened a gate I didn't really need to open, dropped, and what do you know, found that cursed balcony I had the pleasure dropping from 10 minutes ago. So as you see, there is a decent amount of freedom on how we can approach the level. And I've been honestly surprised by it. I think map structure is the best that's going for Styx, but don't confuse it with the design. It looks more like a dollhouse. There's a lot of elements that just stick out, and they love reusing assets. Actually, in the same Master Key level there was a puzzle with the clue being 2 knight statues. The problem is, they are fucking everywhere. 4 on bell tower, 2 on far gates, 2 on other gates, and I'm pretty sure I saw a dozen of them before. Why this society just can't get enough of these generic looking knights and put them everywhere. But overall I enjoyed solving puzzles. It's something you can do along the way for extra skill points. The most fun comes from treasure hunting relics for a big score. And even simple coins or objects were placed in such spots, it created stealth problems, which was interesting to solve. Skill points you spend mostly affect our little goblin's abilities. He can become invisible or can burp out a little younger and dumber version of himself, basically becoming a parent. But he's not very good mom, since his children tend to die in gruesome, inglorious ways in less than a minute from birth. There is also a night vision with highlights. It's useful, but it's not very interesting. It's just something that every stealth game has to just help out a player to see things. I heard people complaining about AI of guards, but I disagree. I think they are just fine. They are not too dumb, they look around for you, call for help, communicate with each other.
Stay alert. Something's lurking around here. Stay alert in the area. There's something in here. Be on your guards.
Check chests, hiding spots, ledges.
Right. Guess it wasn't anything after all.
What's up with this guy?
What? Is someone there or not?
Uh-oh.
Damn it. He got done in.
Hope he doesn't check. No! No!
Hey, you stinking.
Oh wait. Fuck. Actually had a chance. And sure, you can fool them around, for example by switching under which table you're hiding, and they forget about you pretty fast and about corpses of their comrades you leave. But if they were more clever and realistic, the game would be just tedious, because every time you get spotted, the whole castle would just be in alerted state forever. So I think guards were just okay. Unlike the plot, which was the hardest thing to suffer through. I guess the first cutscene drained their budget for the story considerably, because every time we cut back to Styx being interrogated, it's now a slideshow with still pictures and voiceover. And it's actually an improvement, because what I imagine going on is rendering way better in my head. And I really hate stories which almost entirely based in a flashback. It dampens tension, nothing matters, because you know where you're going to end up no matter what. So past Styx wakes up somewhere in a castle. He has headaches, amnesia, and he keeps talking to someone called Rakash, which I deduced being his split personality. Any respectable 200-year-old should have at least one by this point. After a short while he meets human acquaintance and he talks to him before each mission in the hideout. Their conversations were so captivating I felt my face straighten even more ever so slightly.
You want to turn up at the big boss's place just like that? Well, I would have announced my visit with a hunting horn, but I left it in my other pants.
So I think if I watched them daily, my skin would look better. Than there is no such thing as a coincidence, guys.
To live a life that you dread. Excuse me. That is because...
So he goes to governor's chamber to steal a key.
Oi, governor!
And after he done that, a voice in his head just suddenly decides he needs to rescue a friend from a prison to help him with the heist. And at that point I thought, come on, you're not even trying anymore. A voice in the head just conveniently remembers things and tells you what to do, without any explanation. So he opens up a cell and finds a real Styx, which means he was the clone all along? This twist cancelled out a lot of problems I had with the plot. There was no flashback, narration from Styx and interrogation scene happened simultaneously with the player, his clone, executing those things. Amnesia made sense, voice in his head made sense, and I started to turn around on this plot. Sure, presentation is still shit, and there is plot holes with this twist, like why Styx can't just take control over his clone like we can. Why can't he disintegrate it with a snap of his fingers? But hey, I still think it was clever and it was a fun surprise I didn't expect from this story. Before I thought to use this game as a reference point for a decent average game of 50 out of 100. After a twist I thought, I could give it 60 out of 100 even. But as if to contradict my thoughts, they completely given up after this point and started reusing all the maps. So Styx stabs Rakash thinking he killed him, but apparently he's such terrible assassin he can't kill his own clone, because Rakash survives without any help or reason. You also have to know that Styx can sense his thoughts, and now you have to go through all levels but backwards to seek revenge. They go so far as to reuse even tutorial map. They reused hub location, to which you always come back to after each mission, and one map they even reused twice. Now, every good point I was talking before about map structure and exploration doesn't work, because I already saw this map, I already know everything about it. There is no fun in doing the same thing over again. If I wanted to replay this game, I would have done it myself. and they barely change anything. A lot of enemies just walk on same patterns. Each coin you could steal for extra skill points just respawns on the same place, and you have to do the same stealth puzzle again. From this almost halfway point, it was terrible and completely joyless experience, and I don't want to even waste breath talking about it. In my, let's say, fanfic universe, Rakash died when he met Styx, and everything that happened after was a delirium of dying little goblin clone, while he was bleeding out on the floor. At that point, story makes a perfect sense. Styx kills off nonchalantly his doppelganger without any difficulty or remorse, as player killed off his less intelligent clones throughout the whole game. For Styx's 200-year-old mind, you're nothing but a stupid little tool he himself created, and that's it. Might be a little bit abrupt, but it ends on a high point, says the message, and I would be fine with that. And those 18 hours I spent wouldn't feel like a complete waste by the end of it. If you're really starving for stealth games, I would recommend the first half. But unfortunately, as a whole, I'm giving Styx Master of Shadows 35 out of 100. Please stop. Whoa. This is